But anyways, we are back with another episode of Controlled Chaos. Back with us again, we have Adam.
Thanks for having me.
How you feeling?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. You know, cold. I don't know how you're in here without sleeves right now. Like we were under the vent.
I rarely wear sleeves. You know this.
I mean, fair, but I'm a cold person. Maybe that's why I needed, an iron supplement.
Yeah, I'm a furnace. I'm always hot. It doesn't matter. So,
Where did you play football again?
Baker University.
Where is that at?
Baldwin City, Kansas. Like 15 minutes south of Lawrence, where KU's at.
How's the weather there?
Cold. Midwest. Rainy, snowy. Can change in an instant. It's probably a little warmer here.
Yeah, I take that over the mountains where it's either extremely cold or extremely windy.
Yeah. Wind is brutal. Last time my wife and I were in Chicago, it was, you walk around the corner and it just hits you like a freight train. You're like, oh, okay, that sucks. I don't want to do that.
Learn about wind burn.
Yeah. Brutal.
How do you feel about the people who went to the Kansas game when they played the Dolphins and that, what was it, -30?
-27 wind chill or whatever it was, -4 or third or fourth coldest game in NFL history. See, growing up in Kansas City, my grandma actually had season tickets, and so I have a huge family. My mom's the oldest of 8, and so everybody would get to go to a game sometime in the season, but it was always the games in December that nobody wanted to go to. So those were inevitably always the games that I got to see, and that was enjoyable. So, but yeah, that was ridiculously cold, especially when Pat's helmet cracked. That was wild. I thought that was crazy.
I mean, that showed that it was cold, but I don't know if you saw the pictures of people's beers that had basically frozen and just exploded.
Yeah, I saw a video of them pulling a water bottle out of the fridge and just the whole thing froze instantly. It's wild.
So one of my coaches played in the NFL. He played with New England back during the dynasty, and he said the jackets they wear basically have insulated heaters inside of them,
yeah.
So they don't feel anything.
No. Yeah, they have all the good equipment on the sidelines. Even when it's 100 degrees outside, they have those big fans with misters and keep everybody cool. So
the misters are low-key the best, especially when you're playing in states like Alabama or Georgia. I mean, Mississippi's wet anyway, so it's it's just a cool breeze.
Yeah. But no, it definitely looked cold. It looked just as cold in Buffalo the next week.
At least the field's green.
Yeah.
Kansas was a light brown, and that looked like it was painful when you landed on the ground.
Yeah, I think that would be the part of that I would hate the most playing on that kind of field, would be how hard the grass is. And I know that Arrowhead has heaters, but they said it still was rock hard. So, but I guess it's just part of what you sign up for. So, but the Buffalo game was nice. Jason Kelsey's my favorite, man. He's awesome.
I know, yeah. I've become vicariously a Kansas City and Eagles fan because of the brothers, honestly. Right. And then now, this season, with my wife being a Swiftie, I am also more for the Kansas City than ever. What do you think the score is going to be for the big game?
I don't know. I have the Chiefs winning, I'll say that. I think it'll be I would definitely take the over on the game. I think that it's going to be a lot of offense. As much as those defenses have looked great all season, especially Mahomes and Kelsey, and in the playoffs, they're kind of hard to bet against. So my guess would be Chiefs by 3 points, maybe 31-28, something like that.
Yeah, I was looking at 34-28. More of a repeat of the Detroit game, breaking out kind of early, then scaring everybody, then a drive to lead them down the field just to kick the field goal again.
That was wild, because it was 24/7 going into half. And I went upstairs to read a book with our daughter, and I came back down and it was 24/27. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
So
we were at the bar watching the Kansas City game, started watching the Detroit game. We're like, well, this is the blowout. We're going home. Get home, flipping through channels, go back to check the score, and it's like, oh, well, this is the game now.
What just happened? Yeah. So, but yeah, everyone's going to criticize. I love Dan Campbell. He's a true player's coach, but everyone's going to criticize him for going forward on fourth down or I think running the ball in the red zone at the end was a mistake, because if you get tagged, if you don't score, then you have to use one of your timeouts, and you can't stop the clock after that. So, but hindsight 2020, there's all these keyboard warriors that will pick you apart and say you should have done this and you should have done that. But it's like, you've never been on the sideline.
No, exactly.
So yeah,
it's why'd you stop running the ball? Obviously, it stopped working.
Right. So, but no, I think the most impressive thing was the Chiefs' defense against Lamar and the Ravens. And they looked pretty solid. But that was another close one. That was, I didn't know how that one was going to turn out either.
It was actually a weird, game to watch, because it seemed like it was going to be a shootout, and then it quickly wasn't. It was more of just who can hang on.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Kansas City, so I've been a diehard Chiefs fan since I could walk. And, through the likes of Trent Green, Elvis Gerback, Rich Gannon, Priest Holmes, those days. And it's been nice, being able to cheer for a Chiefs team that's been so successful. But since I'm a defensive guy, I love being able to cheer for a Chiefs team that has a solid defense. With Jerry Sneed, Nick Bolton, those guys are
balling right now.
Yeah, they're playing out of their minds right now. So, but Spags is the biggest reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people don't realize just the intricacies of all the different personnel packages he played against the Ravens. Because normally the offense dictates kind of what the defense is going to do, whether you're in, 21 personnel or 10 personnel or 11 personnel with, backs and so many backs and so many tight ends. And Spags was like, no, we're going to put our guys on the field and make you adjust. So he ran 3-man fronts, 4-man fronts, 5-man fronts with, 4, 5, 6 defensive backs, and basically said, no, we're going to play our game. Like, you're going to adjust to us. And it was a big chess match, and it was a brilliantly executed game plan. So, but yeah, being able to cheer for a Chiefs team that has a solid defense is nice. So,
just to say, when we went to the Super Bowl, it was mainly offense. Our defense was pretty stout. It was good. Falcons fan, unfortunately. Have not been able to watch great football since then.
Yep. Who's the running back for the Falcons in the 2000s?
Devontae Foreman.
No, before that.
In the 2000s?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had work done. Big part during Vic's career. You have Michael Turner, a little bit going towards the beginning of Matt Ryan's career.
With that popular dance in the end zone, the Dirty Bird.
Oh man!
Because I lived in Atlanta at that time, so my dad worked for Coke for a couple of years, and so I lived in Atlanta for 2 years, something like that.
I mean, that's the years that we first went to the Super Bowl. Because that was the Chris Chandler year when he was quarterback. I have to brush back up on my Atlanta history. I love sports. There's so many I keep track of.
How do you feel about the Falcons' historic collapse against the Patriots?
It's like PTSD.
Yeah.
I watched the other day with Clay. And Clay's just like, how are you feeling during this? And it's like, I tell everyone that we were supposed to meet up with friends later that night and watch the game at the bar or whatever. And I'm watching the game. The wife's taking a little bit longer to get ready. She gets finished getting ready around the first or second quarter. And I was like, might as well just wait till halftime now. I don't really care about the halftime show, but we can stay and just go then. And I'm talking just cash it to everyone. We ended the half on a pick 6. And then I'm like, well, something kept us up. Like, we decided not to go right then and there. Third quarter starts, and I was kind of like, yeah, maybe we should sit. I don't like how this game's going. Fourth quarter, turns phone off.
Yeah.
End of the night, just in shambles. Have not recovered since.
Yeah.
How it goes, I guess. Alabama football kind of like picks up where they left off. And now Virginia Tech's coming back too, so that's nice.
Yeah, Alabama had a nice comeback this year. That pass in the end zone at the very end, we were at dinner, but I was looking at it on my phone, and I'm like, and it mistakenly reported that Alabama lost, that they, the game had ended, and I was like, oh man. And then I set my phone down, and 20 seconds later, it's like, oh no, they scored. Like ESPN had to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
Did like the game tracker thing. And I was like, wait a minute, did they really score? So I had to look it up.
Yeah, we were watching in the in-laws, and you thought the world is ending when, like, you just seen the pass go up in the air and he caught it. Just everyone's cheering and everything. And then it was like the very next play or something, they returned like an interception for a touchdown. They didn't count it for whatever reason, but like insane.
Yeah.
A lot of insane moments when it comes to sports like that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's how I felt watching the Chiefs Bills divisional game. That will go down as one of the best football games in history. With
it's like dual fates.
13-second, like you leave Mahomes 13 seconds and they drive down the field. But the most impressive thing about that whole sequence is, Kelsey basically coming over during the timeout saying, "Hey, if they line up like that again, that seam's open. I'm not going to run the route that's called. I'm going to hit it." And you hear Pat say, "Do it, Kels," and he just gets rid of the ball, gets down 4 seconds, calls a timeout, Butker nails it, and yeah, that was insane. So, and then watching the Bengals game right after, the following week.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot of good football being played. That's for sure. So,
what's your go-to Super Bowl snack?
Probably chicken wings. Some kind of protein.
You stick kind of healthy with it.
A little bit. We were talking about this the other day. Like, people give me crap sometimes about the way I eat. And it's like, no, you don't understand. I've been eating clean for so long that if I eat something really greasy, like, I just feel like shit for the rest of the day.
I'll stay up the whole night. It's not even like a heartburn thing. It's just my body just feels out of whack.
Yeah. My body's like, what are you doing? Come on. So, yeah, chicken wings. And you can't go wrong with like chips and salsa. Chips and our spinach and artichoke dip. It's another good one.
Yeah, I'm not huge on chips, but like I'll eat them with dip if they're served somewhere. Of course, like any Mexican restaurant style tortilla chips and salsa, or what is it? The sour cream and onion with French onion dip or something. Any of those.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of lose self-control.
I love pizza though, so like that's always like, if you have pizza there, that'd be fun.
What do you like on your pizza?
Anything but mushrooms or olives. Honestly, it's fine. I like pineapple. I don't mind any of the meat. Cheese is cool. Just take some lactate and I'll be fine.
No mushrooms. Okay. I would agree with you.
I feel like they are tasteless and then they'll give like a weird texture. So that's why I don't like them.
I gotcha. I can't do tomatoes because of the texture. I can do red sauce and ketchup and all that kind of stuff, but just, actual tomatoes, whether they're sliced or diced or whatever, I can't. The texture throws me off. So, not a huge fan of mushrooms, but my wife loves mushrooms, so she'll eat all of mine.
Same.
Not a problem. So.
Well, let's pick up where we left off last time. I had very terrible results. Yeah. Followed the plan for a while. Then
felt a lot better, didn't you?
Oh yeah, tons better. We basically went from people who didn't see the first episode, go watch. But like the first episode, we started off with a 233. What was it?
Total testosterone.
Yeah, total testosterone. I think the midpoint of everything, it got back up to like a 779 or something.
And it's important to know that that was your natural production too.
Oh yeah,
that was increasing your body's own production of testosterone, that's always awesome, and that's kind of the thing. And, generally with younger guys that fertility is still, important to them, or guys that are kind of that, because we get people all the time that fall in that gray area that are, their total testosterone may be 400 or 500 nanograms per deciliter. And it's like, yeah, you're not what most people consider low. You're not the textbook definition of low. Hypogonadism, I believe the textbook definition is 300 nanograms per deciliter or below. But people are symptomatic of low test way before they get to that point. And so you may be at 450, 500. Yeah, you're not what people would consider low, but you're not optimal. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that frustrates me the most, I guess, is it's medicine these days seems so reactionary. Like, let something happen and then we'll fix it when the problem comes up, versus, hey, let's optimize everything right now and just roll with it from the beginning. You know what I mean? It's a lot of, hey, oh, you'll be fine. And then if a problem comes up, it's like, okay, we can do this to fix it. It's like, you could have fixed that, prevented that before.
I mean, they don't even tell you for a long time to even get tested for that kind of stuff. Again, I took it as like, well, why not see where my stuff is at, especially based off of some of the episodes I had already heard before we did our podcast episode. Like I said back then, it was like a lot of fatigue, a lot of body soreness. Felt like I wasn't recovering well. Mood was horrible. Got on the medicine. Everything basically was a 360 switch. Felt great. Mood enhanced. Like, there's some strength gains for sure, but I think that's also just because my body was actually recovering for once.
Yeah,
I got super busy.
Yeah. Your total test went from 233 to 779, and your free test went from 12 to 25. Like, your free test more than doubled. So that's huge. That's a huge jump. And that was only, 10 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, because we filmed it in like June. And I think that test was in like September. Something like that.
Yeah. The follow-up test was the 15th of September. So, about 3 months. And it's a substantial jump. Obviously in the mid 700s is a hell of a lot better than 230.
Oh yeah. And I mean, like I said, that I don't think I would have done as well in my competition either if I didn't have that ability to get the recovery done and feel better, because a lot of the workouts just felt like they were just beating against the ground. And at a certain point, it's like, well, I'm waking up and I feel like I'm like walking around like in a metal suit. And it's like, now I'm more free, a little bit more jubilant. So
yeah. Well, it's like last time we talked, I mentioned one of our clients in North Carolina that, was in a number of car accidents, and that was, to more of an extreme, but his leg had atrophied from all these injuries and accidents and surgeries and CRPS and all this kind of stuff. And he needed to work out his leg hard in order to reverse that atrophy and get his leg muscle back. But every time he would do it, he would be out of commission for a week. He'd be in so much pain, and, he just wouldn't recover. He was so sore. And all of a sudden, now you give him the tools to improve everything, and he's able to work out his leg and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool when you can make that kind of difference. And it's something we hear all the time, but that's kind of what sets us apart. I have a world-class physician on staff. So shout out to Dr. Branscombe, because he oversees all of our patient care. He talks to every one of our patients, and he's a good old boy from Arkansas. But he
surprised we didn't hear an accent when we were on the phone either.
You can hear it sometimes. It depends on. I think with him, it's less of an accent and more of word choice. Like supper instead of dinner, things like that. that's a little more, but just the ability to give people their lives back. We have, I think, a dozen clients that are expecting. We put on fertility protocols that have their wives pregnant. One of them has triplets on the way.
Wow. He'll probably hate you for that, Bill.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to him and he was like, yeah, it's 2 girls and a boy. It's the mix that we wanted. He's like, well, I would have preferred it just be one to start. Yeah. But, it's cool when someone comes to you and says, hey, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. And we take this seriously. Like I always try to tell people, your goals are my goals. Tell me what you want to get to, and we'll do everything we can to help you get there. Does it always happen? No. Do people always, follow the plan and are consistent? No. But it's amazing the kind of success that we have, and it's just, it's a combination of just caring about people and knowing what you're doing and having a good doctor on staff. And yeah, it's pretty cool, the amount of things we've been able to do, the amount of lives we've been able to change in a short period of time.
Talking about consistency, yeah, definitely. That's like where basically my journey took that turn. So we ended up doing, took that September, went to the competition. My competition was the first week of October. So we had the end of September, which was Clay's nationals competition. We had my competition. We hosted 2 meets back to back. Took a week off, went and helped host a pro meet up in Northern Virginia. In November, we had 2 meets back to back. Then it was mid-December, and I'm like, man, my body is screaming every morning again. And I'm like, well, you know what? I have not been taking medicine. Completely have neglected to do that. That's when I hit you back up, and I was like, hey, I think we need to retest again because, yeah.
Yeah, consistency is a big one. But you're different because you know that you weren't being consistent, and that's why you felt, it's always interesting when I get people that are like, well, I don't feel good. Like, are you taking your medication as prescribed? Well, no, I miss, half of my doses. And I'm like, why are you talking to me right now? Follow the plan, then come talk to me. And if you don't feel better, then yeah, we can adjust. But, if you're completely inconsistent with your medication, I don't know how to make adjustments to that because, you're throwing a whole other variable in the mix. But most people know that. Most people understand that consistency is very important. So,
got my little 80-year-old man. It's 2 weeks, just the little counter or whatever, and it's just fill them up every Sunday or every 2 weeks, and it's now I won't forget. Because when it's in a bottle, it's kind of well, haven't looked at that shelf in a minute.
Yeah,
just wake up and go.
Yep. Yeah, when it comes to the capsules, troches, pills, tablets, that kind of stuff, having a a weekly pill organizer is always a good idea. Just
it's $3 at Publix too, so expensive.
They're dirt cheap. And if you want a fancy one, go to Amazon. You can find something fancy and nice, and whatever you're looking for, you can find it. But take a day, Saturday or Sunday, sit down, take 10 minutes, and put out your multi and your vitamin D and whatever other medication you're taking, and make it really easy. Because then if you look at it and see it and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to take those,
right, then
you're reminded to do it. Or with stuff that's injectable, I tell people you can draw out a week's worth of medication at a time, whether you're doing 2 shots of injectable testosterone a week, or it's a nightly injection of one of the growth hormone peptides. Just draw out a week in advance. And it's because so many people are just I'm tired, or it's been a long day, and if you take away that roadblock, it's already prepped for me. All I literally have to do is stick myself with it. it's a little easier to follow through.
So what's the difference between the tablets and all of the other options versus the injectables? Is there any like main difference, or is it just accessibility? And
it depends on the medication, really. You know, like injectable testosterone is popular because testosterone is not orally bioavailable. It doesn't make it through the liver. That's why you don't ever see like testosterone pills. It's usually either a cream or an injection. Injections are obviously preferred. Some things can't be injected. With the stuff that goes both ways, like BPC 157, that's interesting because BPC can do a number of things. It's great for tissue regeneration, healing, recovery, that kind of stuff. But it's also great for gastrointestinal health because it was actually isolated from human stomach acid. And so it's been shown to help with ulcers and stuff like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. And so with that, I found that the injectable route's better if you're trying to heal an injury because you can put it, you know, if you're trying to heal your shoulder, inject it in your shoulder. And then if you're trying to fix stomach issues, you know, it's available in an acid-resistant capsule. And so you can do it that way, and then it's, you know, directly affecting the gut. So it's kind of a toss-up. It depends on the med. But unfortunately, that medication and a number of others are going away here very soon, within the next month.
So yeah, we were talking about that the other day. So I want to kind of explain that, like what exactly is going away and why are some of the peptides under fire at the moment?
Because they work. Because the FDA is a giant puppet for big pharma. To be honest, that's my personal take on it. You know, I think it threatens big pharma's bottom line, which obviously they don't appreciate. But you know, some of the reasoning in the FDA's literature is like, well, we have concerns about these compounding pharmacies, and it's like, first of all, you're talking about compounding pharmacies that you're overseeing. Second of all, you let big pharma run unchecked with painkillers for 20 years and kill millions of people, and now you're concerned about naturally occurring peptides? Give me a break. Like, or ipamorelin, one of the growth hormone peptides. There was a note that said people who were experiencing negative side effects when injecting it intravenously. Like, well, don't fucking do that. Like, why are you trying to IV growth hormone peptides? Like, are you stupid? Like, you know, I could take a fistful of aspirin right now and be like, oh, my stomach hurts. I have an ulcer. It's like, yeah, because you didn't do what you're supposed to do with it. So, yeah, it's sad, but
so how do you get notification like something is off the market or something that has to be get rid of pretty soon? Like it's a newsletter
or generally our reps at the pharmacies tell us. So yeah, shout out to Reed at Revive RX, man. He's our rep there. He's phenomenal. The guy is a wizard. And he always takes such good care of us. So giant shout out to him. But yeah, we get notified by our reps like, hey, we're going to stop making this and this. And as far as the list goes that's being discontinued, there's a lot of good medications on there, and it's frustrating. The big one is dihexa, because for the rest, there's generally some kind of alternative available or that will be available. You know, like BPC 157, we're talking about using either hexarelin or GHKCU, which is a copper peptide that helps with collagen production, or, you know, the CJC 1295 ipamorelin, one of the growth hormone peptides. Tesamorelin will still be around by itself. That's because that has a lot more literature behind it, because it was originally created by Big Pharma to treat HIV-induced lipodystrophy under the brand name Egrifta. And so there's a lot more info on that, so they can't get rid of that. But dihexa is the big one because we really don't have a viable alternative to it. And, it's unfortunate because I've seen so many people do so well with Dihexa. It's like, it helps with brain function and helps protect against Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia and all that kind of stuff. So, that's the frustrating one, but, it's just part of the game. A couple of years ago, we didn't know about CJC 1295 and ipamorelin. So, it's just, part of the game that we play, and they take away certain medications and we do what we can to adjust and find alternatives and go from there. But yeah.
So what have you seen as like the more trending, or I guess what's been the most beneficial to the bigger population here lately?
Probably the BPC 157.
I've seen that a lot with like some of the smaller companies that like I'll tell you about, like, hey, have you heard of this or anything?
Yeah. Just the tissue regeneration and healing properties of it have been pretty amazing. And for people that have, that are deficient in growth hormone or IGF-1, the growth hormone peptides have been very popular. People recover better on them. And like I said, Dihexa has been great. Those are the big ones. But they're all beneficial to an extent. But it's just, it's what we have to deal with. So, if anyone from the FDA is listening, I'm sorry, I love you guys. So,
I was going to ask, well, does someone who goes through like a traditional like primary care physician, would they be able to like get some of the same things you're offering, or no?
Generally, no. And it's a lot of it is because, well, even when we talk about testosterone levels, I get people that come to me and say, well, hey, my primary tested my testosterone and it's 420. And he said, that's normal. Like, yeah, but you're 26 years old. That's not normal for a 26-year-old. Yeah, it's within this reference range. That's 286 to 916. I think that's the latest reference range as far as total testosterone goes. But that's not what's considered medically optimal. Like that whole reference range is a statistical thing. It's take all the results from, I think it's 2 years, take out the statistical outliers, and that's 80% on the bell curve. And it's like, that's great. You tell us where 80% of the population falls. But I don't know if you've seen the average American these days. I don't want to look like that. So that's irrelevant to me. I don't care. I want to be what's best for my body, what's best for my overall health, my mental health. And it's not being at 450, I can tell you that. So, and honestly, there are a lot of doctors that shy away from even using testosterone or even some of the alternatives like clomiphene or Clomid to boost natural levels, just because there's not a whole lot of focus on it. There's not a whole lot of training. They just don't know enough about it. And so they're going to play it safe, so it's something they don't want to deal with. When you come to the peptides, most people, most doctors have no idea what you're talking about, or think it's some fringe internet fad. But there's some good ones that know what, know what they're doing. So like I said, we're lucky enough to have a world-class physician on staff and who knows what he's doing. I've been studying this stuff for a long time. I'm not a physician, nor have I ever claimed to be. But, I've studied as much as a physician would. But yeah, it's just knowledge, I think, just that makes it unavailable for most people in the general population. Not to mention, then you can get into all these big pharma reps that are going into doctors' offices and dropping off samples and gifts and
great.
Hey, you should try this, or you should give your patients this. And, doctors are hearing things from all sides and, trying to filter that information, decide what to do with it, decide what's best for their patients and what's best for their practice and what's best for their wallet. And it gets messy. So And that was the biggest reason why we started this whole thing. The focus on patient that used to be on patient care has, a big chunk of it has gone to the financial, business side of things and loyalties and regulations and big pharma, and all that takes away from what should be focused on, and that's the patient, client. I always talk about, we do comprehensive labs, we do all this stuff to make sure that we're doing things the right way, but symptom relief should always be the focus. Someone comes to me and says, hey, like, I feel better, but I'm still having this issue. Okay, well, what can we do to adjust to fix that? It's not this cookie cutter, well, that's the normal range, you need to be there. Because it doesn't, I have guys that have total testosterone levels that sit in the 700 and 800s and they feel like superheroes. And there are guys that, come to me with, at a 900 or 1,000 and they're like, still there's something off, and so we maybe adjust and get them to 1,200 and all of a sudden they feel better. It has to be taken on a case by case basis. And that's why we have a physician that oversees every case individually. There is no cookie cutter one size fits all plan.
Especially it's not like I could walk up to someone and say, I'm taking this, so you should take it. It's probably won't help them at all.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of influencers out there on social media that basically do that exact thing. Like, I took this, so you should take this. Well,
so it's always weird when I see some of the pro bodybuilders or influencers who are like, I'm on this stack and I take it this way. They'll put the measurements, the exact chemicals and stuff. And I'm like, I understand being informational and transparent of what you're taking and how you're taking it, but you realize someone's literally sitting here with a notebook and hoping that they can look just like you.
Right.
And it's like, if you don't even understand how any of these things affect you in a positive way, you're going to just be blasted by all the negative stuff, just like we talked about last time with Trin and Anavar and all the other things from when we were growing up, we got taught.
Yeah. Well, I remember even back in the day, like, and I'm not on social media, our business has a social media page, but personally I'm not. So I don't see all these advertisements all the time. But the one that comes to mind is like Muscle Tech back in the day, like Cell Tech. You should take some, like all the bodybuilders are like, this is what I take to get big. And it's like, yeah, you're leaving off a couple things there, bud. Like, where's the rest of the list? You know what I mean? Like, you're not just taking creatine. We all know that. That's okay. But even with the ones that are transparent, that makes me laugh too, because people will, or even like talking about me, people will talk and imply that, oh, I look this way because of the medications that I take. And it's like, hey, I have dozens and dozens of clients taking the exact same protocol. And I guarantee you, they're not all 6'2", 245 pounds and 6% body fat. Like, I don't look this way because of something I inject into myself. Like, there's a whole lot more that goes into it behind the scenes. And most people in this industry know that. But for people that aren't as educated or don't know the fitness industry or what goes into this lifestyle, it always makes me laugh when they imply that, oh yeah, well, you take this and that's why you look the way you do. It was like, Austin Page put something out about, he put a video up saying something about like, hey, make all the right choices today. And some guy commented and said, well, the first choice must have been steroids. Like, really? People like that made me laugh.
Like trolls. I mean, that's how AmFam was like for a while there. It's like you would walk around and someone's like, oh, you're on this or that. And it's like, I don't even know where to find that, nor do I even know what the hell you just told me. Right. You know more about it than I do, right? Which should scare you.
Right. But some of those people, they have to justify to themselves why they aren't on your level. Like, they have to come up with, well, he's doing this and that's why he looks like that. That's why I don't look like it, because I don't do that. It's like, that's not at all what's going on. What makes me laugh is, that especially when it's like trolls on social media, like on Austin's post, the somebody vocalizing that, like taking the time to type that out, you know, there were 5 other people that were pissed off by that
and just didn't do it.
Didn't say anything. But it's like, that's a compliment in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if my success bothers you to the point that you have to say something to me about it, I'm doing something right. So I this whole notion of like, you should be loved by everybody. If that's the case, you're not pushing the boundary hard enough. You know, you're always going to rub some people the wrong way. And you have to be okay with that. You know, you have to be okay with going against the grain and doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
This whole industry that I'm in is I don't want to say corrupt, just has a focus. You know, the focus is on everything else besides the patient. It's about making money. It's about looking flashy. It's about this. And, you know, we have, you know, these influencers and we have this many followers and okay, that's not what I'm here to do.
Right.
You know, I'm not about views and likes, and I understand that translates into business. I understand that whole concept, but that's not why I got into this.
Right.
So, but yeah, you have to be willing to ruffle some feathers in order to make a change or make a difference. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, nobody guards a door unless there's treasure on the other side. You know, people try to get in your way when your progress or your success is a threat to them in some way, whether it's to their ego or to their wallet or whatever the case may be. You know, people only stop you because, you know, how many times do you see people that are doing really well that are just hating on people below them for no reason? You don't see that.
Nope.
You know, it's, and I've never been the kind of person that understood this whole lifting yourself up by putting other people down. Because I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, that's what you're going to do, really? Like, I've always said, yeah, I want to be super successful in everything that I do. But my whole thing is like, I want everyone at my table to be eating well. If I'm eating well, everyone at my table is eating well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to take care of the people around me. Like, I want to be the best at what I do, and I want to help you be the best at what you do. How can I help Sean grow the Chaos Lab to be something even more special than it is now? How can I, you know, get you feeling better to the point where, you know, you feel stronger than ever and you wake up refreshed and all this kind of stuff? How can I help you be the best version of you? This whole, it's always a competition. I have to put you down to make myself feel better. I think it's the fucking dumbest thing I've ever heard. But it's so prevalent these days.
It's also like, I feel like people take that villain stance in order just to get attention. They might not even truly feel that way, and they're just doing it. I think it's even worse, because like, you can't even be mean the right way. Like, you're just saying things now.
Yeah. And it gets to the point where people see what you're doing, they understand what you're doing, and then they just start laughing at you.
Yep. That's when you've lost it. You've lost your touch. You're no longer the big, mean, scary influencer.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's, you know, I was talking about it the other day, like, not letting your past influence your future. Like, I love people of the past with history. Those are my people. Like, normal people scare the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you've never been through shit in your life, you don't know how to handle shit when it comes up.
Right.
People that have never been through anything, they hit adversity, they hit some kind of roadblock, and they fold. No, I love people that have a sordid past. Like, this whole notion of, the one that makes me laugh is this whole find your knight in shining armor. Fuck that. His armor is shiny because he's never been to war. Like, find the one that's, his armor's dented and, you know, rusted, and he's still standing tall. That guy knows how to fight. That's the guy you want in your corner.
Mm-hmm.
You want people that have been through some shit. I love people like that. This whole, you know, thing about being normal is insane. Plus, when you've been through shit in your life, people can't rattle you. Like, I've been through some shit that would make your skin crawl. And it's like, you really think you're going to get under my skin? Please, don't flatter yourself. Like, I've been through way more than you could ever understand. Don't. Like, nice try, but it's not going to work.
Oh, yeah. I completely understand. That's why, like, people will come up and, like, why does Sean never smile? Why does he never do anything? It's like, it's just my temperament. Like, I'm just here.
Yeah.
In a sense, because it's just, there's not much that phases me. To an extent where it's like, I have to, like, verbally tell people, like, no, like, I am proud of you. You are doing great things. You did a great lift today.
Yeah.
I might have to force a smile a little bit, but, like, it's there.
Yeah.
Life is life. It's a continuous journey of how hard you can get knocked down and beaten up and keep going.
Yeah, I understand that. And I think you're the same way that I am. Like, you don't have to always be the one talking. Like, I don't talk to be heard or to hear myself talk or because I want people to focus on me. Like, I'm very analytical. Like, I'd rather sit back and listen to things. And then, hey, when it's my turn to interject in the conversation, I'll step in and say something. To the point where I coached our middle one. I coached 12U football this year. And at the end, they did like superlatives at the party, like most likely to do this. And mine was, most likely to look really scary, but actually be really nice. Like, I'm a big fucking teddy bear, but, I may walk around looking like I'm pissed off. I'm not. That's just my resting.
I'm your big dude with no sleeves on, walking around. And it's kind of like, well, yeah, no, he coaches his son's team and he smiles the entire time. It's like that guy, and it's like, yeah, go watch the game.
Yeah. No, I'm the one that's very quiet, not reserved, but just analytical. I think before I speak. Now, on the football field, I was the polar opposite. When I was on the football field, there was a switch that just flipped, and I never fucking shut up, ever. In between plays, during plays, like, my mouth was always moving. My mouth moved more than my feet did. And I would just talk shit left and right. Just some of the most ridiculous things you've ever heard.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But that's that whole part of the game. And nobody likes winning more than I do. But it's just, I just like messing with people sometimes. It's fun. It's fun to, and I honestly, you've played sports, you understand this. Winning's fun, scoring touchdowns is fun, all that stuff. It's great. My favorite part of the game was taking somebody's will away from them. Everyone comes out that first series all hyped up, like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole, that Mike Tyson quote, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Like, my goal that first series was to decleat anybody who came across the middle of the field and let them know that, hey, it's going to be a long fucking day for you. And when you can watch somebody quit, when you can watch somebody, my goal was to have the opposing receivers go back to their sideline and go, Coach, I don't want to play football today. Like, I'm done. I'm out.
You see the running back, like, get the play call and he looks up at you and it's just like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're about to run and you don't even want to run it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for me, that was always the best part of the game, was taking somebody's will, watching them quit in front of you. That was the most satisfying thing in the world. When you can, because if I can hit you hard enough to make you quit, because like I said, everyone comes out that first series all pumped up. Everyone's ready to go. They think about it all week. And if I can take that excitement and drain it from you in a series because I hit you so hard that your, helmet's to the side, yeah, that's what's fun. That was the most enjoyable part of the game, was just, it's football is a lot more than just brute force and physicality as much as people think it is. Like, for me, it was a chess match.
Yep.
I'm going to get in your head. I'm going to break you down. I'm going to make you not want to do anything that, whatever you practiced all week that you were ready to do, you're going to abandon that. We're going to stop that, from the get-go. So, plus, back when I played, there was no such thing as targeting. That was just a good hit. So, people would come across the middle of the field, and my goal was to try to physically separate their head from their shoulders.
Yep.
And because the next time that receiver comes across the middle of the field, he's not looking for the ball, he's looking for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so I had a coach in high school. He played with the Saints during the Bounty Gate. So it was like our junior year is when they started implementing the targeting rules, and he was just like, shit. He's like, that's just my whole mentality. It's like, you're not gonna run across the field, you're not gonna celebrate and stuff. And it was hard-nosed football, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like you would so the same kind of hits you're talking about, he would give us like a golden hammer. Like, you laid the hammer on somebody, here's your golden hammer. And it's like, now no one else can get this hammer until next week. And it's like, I'm getting the hammer.
Yeah.
And someone's dying today.
Yeah. Yeah. You give the offensive linemen the pancake stickers and.
Oh yeah. Sticker day was.
That was the best. That was the best. We gave out t-shirts in college for like hit of the week. I have boxes full. So, because I actually got a chance to play with one of our coaches for 2 of the years I was at Baker, was Sean Barber, who was a Richmond native. I didn't know that. Went to the University of Richmond, played with the Eagles, played with the Chiefs, played with the then Redskins. So during the spring game, he actually suited up because Baker does it a little differently. Instead of half the team versus half the team, it was the varsity team versus any alumni that wanted to play. Now, most of that team was the guys that were just graduating or had graduated the year before, but Barber decided to put pads on and go out and run routes, which that's a giant man. So, yeah, I got a chance to play next to him, and there were a couple guys that were big hitters. So, actually, the linebacker that I played next to for several years, Matt Brock, was Mississippi State's defensive coordinator this past season. So, unfortunately, they fired their head coach, so he wiped the whole staff. So I don't know where Matt's going next, but yeah, he was their D coordinator, and God, I thought they were going to pull off that upset against Ole Miss. He had them rolling for a while.
Yeah, now you can see a lot of the different ways he used that defense. I mean, Bama fan, so like he didn't really do much against us, but like you can still see it. Yeah, it's kind of like one of his coaches like, well, if he gets the right pieces, it'll work. Yeah, Matt and Coach Thorne, who actually left. He was our linebackers coach and defensive coordinator when I was there. He became Baker's head coach after I left, and then he left to go to Mississippi State to coach with Matt. And those guys are probably the two best defensive minds that I've ever been around. To the point where we would line up and Matt would be like, hey, this is what they're running. Like, he's running an out, he's running a dig, he's running a go. Quarterback's like, shit, okay. Or, hey, they're running power right here, and quarterback will, audible the play, and he's like, okay, now they're running it over here. So, will you stop? Like, Matt would study so much film and see everything coming that he would just, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Best hit of my career I owe to Matt. We're in the huddle before a third down. He said, hey, remember when they line up in pistol with offset back and the back crosses the face of the quarterback, it's a screen 100% of the time. So sure enough, we line up. I'm the weak side outside linebacker. Backs away from me. As soon as the ball snapped, I see him cross the face of the quarterback. So I know it's a screen. I know it's going to the running back. And Graceland's running back that year was like 145 pounds. And this quarterback does one of these, looks, turns, and just floats this ball. And so you have a 145-pound running back that's jogging, doing this. And I was like, yep, you're dead. It's like a Reggie Bush hit. That's exactly what he was like. I think there's a picture. My helmet is in his face mask. His head's against the ground, and our feet are up in the air. And you can see the quarterback in the background, like, wincing because it was such a big hit. But yeah, I owe that to Matt because Matt was like, hey, this is what they're going to do. Okay, can you do that?
So
it's like Jarhead when he's staring outside the window, like watching himself be in the desert. That's how I feel about the football field sometimes. I'm just like, wow, I'm still there. It's a reliving place.
Yeah.
To bring back to supplements and everything, aren't you creating a pre-workout?
Yeah. I'm working on a number of things. Pre-workout being a big one. I really think it has a chance to, make a splash. Just there are so many pre-workouts out there that either seem to be missing ingredients or ingredients that aren't dosed properly or to work together. But we're working on just creating a whole supplement line in general. 98% of our patients that come in are deficient in vitamin D. Excuse me. So, I inevitably end up sending them to Amazon to buy something. And it's like, hey, what if I did this myself and I stopped giving Amazon and these other supplement companies all the, if I can do it myself. So we're working on a line of like vitamin D, P5P, which is we use to lower prolactin. It's a bioactive form of vitamin B6. High quality omega-3 fish oil, which I think everybody should be taking. Omega-3s are essential fats that get stored in your cell membranes that act as lubricants and natural anti-inflammatories. So it's great for anybody, but heart health, joint health. I just filmed a video last night about supplements for joints like glucosamine and chondroitin and MSM. So helping to rebuild cartilage, but a good multivitamin, just the basic stuff that most people end up needing. Mm-hmm. But a good pre-workout.
What would you say you're trying to like? Is there any brands that stick out that you like or don't? You want to keep your formula close to or anything like that?
As far as the basic stuff, we generally recommend the sports research line of like vitamin D or vitamin D3 and K2. They also have a good probiotic and prebiotic. But honestly, as far as the pre-workout goes, it's things that you take a piece here and a piece there and a piece here and try to put it together into something special. And that's kind of what you do in life in general. Like I always try to soak things up around, like, I may learn something from you and something from Austin Page and something here. And I try to combine all the things that I'm learning from people around me into, being a better version of myself. It goes back to me saying, like, I want to help people around me be, whatever they can take from me, mm-hmm. whatever positives I may bring to the table, like, hey, take this away from it and roll with that. But as far as the pre-workout goes, it's pretty straightforward. Good blend for a pump, energy and focus. Not super stim heavy, more nootropic focused based. Stuff like an acetyl L-tyrosine and L-dopa, which are precursors to your neurotransmitters, dopamine, epinephrine, norepinephrine, which can help in response to stress. And, they get depleted during workouts. And something like phosphatidylserine, which can help with cortisol levels and get you out of a catabolic state.
See, a lot of those sound like kind of like the focus stack I gave you before this. I don't know if you can tell a difference or not.
A little bit. Yeah.
Because that's what I'll take on bench workout days, because I don't need a stimulant for it. Or not bench workout days. I mean deadlift days. I don't want a stimulant for deadlifts. I just want to be able to focus on the weight and how I feel. Meet days, take the 4 capsules at like 6 a.m. before everyone gets here. That's why I can run these events, is how I do that, because I don't like just chugging energy drinks or having to chug water behind them. And really, a lot of the stuff you're talking about is already in that one. I know that. And That's from 110. So that owner, that supplement company will be down here in, God, I think he might be here for March, the Shamrock Showdown meet.
When's that?
16th and 17th.
Okay.
I think I'll confirm that. His name's Kevin Papa.
I'd love to meet him, yeah.
So his brand's huge. Like, that's a nationwide brand. It's pretty good. I like his pre-workout. It makes me warm. Like, the formula itself makes it's really good. It's not like a huge nootropic formula. That's why I like the pills separate. But the formula itself is good energy throughout a workout that's like maybe 2 hours long. I just don't like the fact that I get warm. There might be a thermogenic in it I'm not looking at. I showed you the Reach, which is it's pretty heavy. Like, it's a heavy formula that's thrown in like an entire greens powder plus, what is it? Citrulline that's in there is pretty heavy because it's meant for, like, I think the label says it's meant for people who are 220 pounds and above. And then I don't mind what's it called? Actually, you know what? I'll just go back to Austin Page's or Gym Flow. That's his brand. I like his pump. It's one of the best ones I've ever had. Like, yeah. It's both flavors. I will rock with his pump over anybody else's.
It's a solid it's a solid formula, and it's funny. I've told this story before, but that's, we met Austin here at a meet, and we both had tables set up, and it's funny because I walk over and I grabbed one of his tubs off his table, and you're looking at it and you can kind of judge, like, let's see if this guy knows what he's doing.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, here's somebody. Okay, like, I'll shake your hand. You seem like a good dude. You know what you're talking about. Yeah, he's got his pump product's great. The Overcome is great too.
Oh yeah, the hydration formula.
I keep joking. We need to get an icy machine in here. You can sell Overcome ices for after workouts, and you can make a killing. Like,
yeah, I have to get the wholesale started with Austin. Because like with Austin, it's like I never knew anyone in supplements. I just took random ones I saw on the shelves. I like what I like. Like, I'll try anything. And since being here, it's like I've met Austin, you know Jacob and Peyton. You met John the other night. His brand is Level Up Alchemy. His is a lot more nootropics based. He's in like the big boom that comes with it, which is the heavy caffeine, or the what am I thinking of? Beta alanine, and it's mainly nootropics. Someone else you haven't met because he's in Colorado. His name's Brock. He just made an EEA and a hydration formula. It's really good. It's made for ultra marathon runners, so it's heavy sodium content, but like if you take like the little mini scoops, it's not bad. But it's like you run into so many people who are doing the same things.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Then that's what impressed me about the stuff you were showing me before this was the tyrosine, the L-Dopa, and the theanine. I think theanine's a big one that is commonly overlooked. Because I am a stim junkie. Like, it's not so much I'm a stim junkie, it's just I have a super high tolerance to stimulants. Like, I could drink a pot of coffee and go to bed. Like,
same.
And when I want to be productive, I don't want to be over energized. I just want to be able to focus. And it's that calm focus when you can dedicate yourself to a task, but you're not. So if you go too heavy on the stims, I think you kind of bounce around a little bit. The theanine helps with a calming focus. So you add the theanine to the tyrosine and L-Dopa, which are neurotransmitter precursors, and you get stuff like alpha GPC, huperzine A. The other two big ones that are becoming more prevalent are like bioperin and estrogen for absorption.
Estrogen's been huge in a lot of them, especially the Kaijo series, and I think it's the Superhuman Alpha Lion one. You know what I'm talking about? It's It looks like a TikTok brand, but it's actually not a bad like supplement altogether.
Yeah, I've tried it before.
Yeah,
the estrogen's big. It's just if you go to the like Astrogen website and you read some of the like clinical data on it, it's wild. The increase in absorption from amino acids to basically whatever it's paired with. And Bioprinted, the black pepper extract's the same way. But it's something that's like, hey, you can add this really easily and make your whole formula more effective. So why would you not put it in there? And then there are ingredients that you'd love to include, but supplement companies have, control over. Like arginine nitrate's the one that comes to mind, because you get the arginine side of it, the nitrate side of it, great pump, but it's a patented ingredient, I believe. So you have to pay. I think when we were talking to somebody about getting our pre-workout made, I would owe them $1 a tub plus 1% royalty just to use their ingredient. And that's after sending a letter asking permission to include their ingredient in your product. Which it's like, yeah, I'm okay. I can put sodium nitrate and
I think John went through that same process with a different, I can't remember what it was. And they also made him, like, he would have to have bought an insane like quantity. And I think it would have produced like over 10,000 tubs for him. And he was like, there's no way I'm doing this. He's like, I'll just find a different, ingredient at that point.
Yeah. And we're fortunate enough to, I know people in the supplement industry. And then one of our longtime clients, Henry's in North Carolina, and he's honestly responsible for probably 100 clients in Raleigh at this point. But he's in the supplement game and talks to us left and right about, I know somebody here and somebody there, and I'll get you set up with them. And so it's nice. Like you said, when you you start meeting people and networking in the industry and related industries, obviously, since stuff like hormone replacement and supplements and gyms go hand in hand. It's nice to have connections in that sense.
Do you have any like ingredients or anything that you cannot take? Because like for me, it's Yohimbean. Is that how you say it?
Yohimbean?
Yeah, yes.
That's one of the ones I can't take. It wrecks me. Like
so I get the
flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, so it's more anxiety inducing, I feel.
Yep.
So Ryan got the flu-like one. Chandler and Clay are fine. And I remember I did the workout and I was just like, I asked Jacob, because Jacob can spout off any ingredient and tell you something about it. I was like, hey man, like I just took this pre-workout and I've never felt like this before. What's in here and he pointed out like, well, this right here is one of the bigger, it's a proprietary blend as well. So it's like, you don't know how much of anything is in there. Yeah. I was like, yeah, if I see that word on it, I'm not taking it.
Yeah. Yohimbean's one. And then for some reason, glycerol lately is something that I haven't. And unfortunately, it's in a lot of pump products because it's a great ingredient.
So I had the straight glycer from Black Market in my cabinet.
Yeah. I have I have like liquid glycerol and
it tastes horrible.
Yeah, the Evogen stuff's actually not that bad. You can just add the tablespoon to your pre-workout. But no, glycerol will wreck my stomach now. I don't know what it is. It's just all of a sudden my stomach doesn't tolerate it. But as far as like proprietary blends go, that's something that is kind of, it used to be like the standard as far as the supplement industry goes. And now it's more the exception rather than the rule. Like you'll see most people are fairly transparent about this is what's in our products. And it's gotten to the point where, people have pushed back and like, hey, if you're not going to tell us what is in here, like we'll go somewhere else, because you can't just say, hey, there's, we have these ingredients in there, and you can kind of figure it out because they still have to be listed from highest to lowest. So whatever is first there's the most of that in there. But when you're talking about pre-workouts, a lot of them have 4, 6, 8 grams of citrulline. Like that's always going to be at the top, but you don't know where that's at. And then some of the nootropic stuff and other, stimulant ingredients are going to be milligrams or even micrograms. So you used to be able to figure it out based on the order, but even then, it's still a toss up. But you don't really see a lot of proprietary blends these days, and I think that's because of the pushback that consumers gave the supplement industry. Like, hey, we want to know what's in your product, or we're not going to buy it. So, but good, honest companies didn't have a problem with that.
Great.
It was the people that, the only reason you have a problem with that is because you don't want people to know, hey, there's not that much of this ingredient in there. So, but that's the biggest thing, man. I think that's why you and I connected was just because we have the same values when it comes to business, like taking care of people, taking care of our clients. And I have a number of people in Raleigh. Joey Mack at Hard Work. Shout out to Joe. He's one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. You and him would get along so well. They just opened a second location down there. It's a badass gym, man. And then Dr. Woodbury. And we call ourselves like the honest misfits, because we care about our clients, we care about our people, and unfortunately that goes against the grain these days. Like, that's not the norm. It's just, I've always said, like, I'm good at what I do. I may be a shit businessman because I just love taking care of people. So if you want somebody who's focused on the bottom line and making money, I'm probably not your guy.
I feel that.
But, I think we do well because that's not what we're focused on. And that's never been what our focus has been. So, yeah, the honest misfits, the ones that just want to do the right thing and take care of people no matter what it costs, no matter what it's, I think it's what sets us apart. I think it's what sets you guys apart. Like, this is a completely different atmosphere than anything else you'll find around here.
So that was the goal.
Dude, our 12-year-old asked every week he's with us. He's like, can we go to the Chaos Lab tonight? Can we go to the Chaos Lab tonight? He loves being here.
He grabbed dumbbells, went right in front of the mirror.
Yeah, he'll get after it, man. He loves it. He played soccer for a long time, played football this past year, and fell in love with it. And that's a challenge. And I'm super proud of him, because if you've never played contact sports before and then you try to get into it, like at that age, 11, 12, it can be an adjustment. If you've never hit somebody, and you have to, it takes a while to understand the whole concept of being the hammer and not the nail.
Yep.
Because I've always said, like, the biggest hits that you have, it feels like you're running through a cardboard box. Like, the person feels weightless. Like, it's not painful at all. But if you hesitate, if you absorb the hit, yeah, that's going to suck.
Exactly.
But that's just a hard concept for people, especially kids, to grasp if you've never played contact sports. But it was an adjustment for him. But he did a great job, man. He loves it to death. So it's been great. All our kids play sports. The oldest one's playing lacrosse and is damn good at it, working his butt off. And the youngest one, Haley, has so much attitude, man. She's hilarious. Because even when she was playing like 6U soccer, she'd play defense. And she would stare people down. Like, if they scored, she would walking backwards, staring at the other team, trying to intimidate them. It's we see it's a bunch of 6-year-old girls, and she's like mean mugging people. Or she'll score and look at me and roll up her sleeves and flex. I love it.
I wonder who's her dad.
I don't know where she gets that from. But
no idea where she gets it from.
It could be me. It could be your mom. So
she walks over here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll kind of like wrap it up with a funny question. Have you seen the Rocky movies? Please tell me you have.
A long time ago.
Good Lord.
Like,
what's a long time ago?
Over a decade.
Okay, so how many of them have you seen?
I think all of them.
Okay, so Carl Weathers just died this past week.
I saw that.
Sad. Apollo Creed there. Anyone who has not seen Rocky, please, dear God, go watch it. If you had to be put into a ring and had to survive 3 rounds, which of the Rocky people are you getting in the ring with in order to win some absurd cash amount? Do you remember everybody he faces is some world-renowned somebody? And there's like 2 that off bat I'm never getting in the ring with, and there's 2 that I'm like, you know.
See, I have that. I'm going to give you a I don't know, cop-out answer. I don't give a shit who it is. I'm one of those people that's like, I don't care. Bring it on. Like, it doesn't matter. If you're going to put me in the ring, I'm going to come out swinging. And I don't care what your pedigree is. I don't care what your record is. I don't care what, if you're a foot taller than me, like, you're not, I'm coming out swinging. Like, that's it, regardless of who it is. So, yeah, I'm going to say I'd bring any of them on. Obviously, some would be more challenging than others, but I'm the person that, bring it. Like, let's do it. I'm the one that game on the line wants the ball in his hands. That's just always been my mentality. So if you're going to put me in the ring, I don't care who's across from me. I'm coming out swinging. So what about you?
Oh, I'm taking Mason the Line Dixon 200%. One, he looks sloppy as hell. Like, out of everybody who looks cut and looks like they should be on some kind of steroid and punching at such velocities that probably should break concrete, he's the only one that looks beatable. The person I'm not getting in the ring with is the Mike Tyson comp, which is I think it's Clubber Lang. Yeah, nah. Him or Hulk Hogan, if you want to count him, even though he doesn't really count because it was like a 30-second fight. But right. Like, Hulk Hogan in that part was like trying to throw people out of the ring. So it's like, well, I won't last 3 rounds because if he picks me up, I'm kind of just a dead bug.
That's funny. It reminds me of you remember Butterbean? Just big swinger. Because you get some of those guys that look soft that are deceptive.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's probably a good answer.
Yeah.
But
I'm not taking Drago, that's for damn sure either.
Oh no. No, you don't want that route.
Those 2 are like, I don't want this one. I want the money, but like, will I live after I get the money in my hands? One literally has a body attributed to his hands. I don't know. But you can do some final shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to my gorgeous wife over there. And the 3 kids, Chase, Aiden, and Haley. I love you guys. Those 4, those are the reason why I do what I do. Big shout out to Dr. Branscombe. Like I said, it's amazing having not just a world-class physician on staff, but somebody that has the same values, that cares, that's a family man, that, gives a shit about people. Shout out to Joey Mack and all the guys at Hard Work. We just we've been blessed and just been surrounded by so many good people. Austin Page from Gym Flow and all you guys here at Chaos Lab, man. It's nice having, I'm always one of those people that's like, I don't need a big group of friends. Mm-hmm. Just give me a couple people that I get along with, that I trust, that have the same values or same goals, or are aligned with the same interests. And Super Bowl is Sunday. Who taking, the Chiefs or the 49ers?
Definitely taking Chiefs. Can't bet against the biracial Tom Brady.
Right. See, I'm a Pacheco fan. I fucking love Pacheco. I love the way he runs the ball.
He runs angry.
I love all those memes that, like, Pacheco runs like a little kid testing out new shoes in the shoe store. Or Pacheco runs like a cartoon. There's like Tom and Jerry, and I just love the way he runs, because that was my mentality. That was how I played. It was just angry. Like, get up angry. Like, let's go. you know, bring on the next one. So, yeah, I think, you know, it's funny. The Chiefs are the Chiefs are the underdogs, and the 49ers are favored by,
I think it's like 2.5 points. The over-under.
It's gone back and forth between 1.5 and 2.5. But I was reading The Athletic, I think out of the 10 experts that picked the game, only one picked the 49ers. So somebody said, hey, you guys need to stop betting against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And the best comment was, no, keep doing that, but just make sure he knows about it. And he and Travis Kelce embraced the villain role at media night the other night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Kelsey's talking, and they all start booing, and he just kind of looks around like, okay.
Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, maybe we want to play right now. So, yeah, I think the Chiefs have embraced that villain role this time. You know, but everyone hates on Travis Kelce, but it's like he's arguably the best tight end of all time. He's dating Taylor Swift. He has the most successful podcast in the world. You know, he's going back to his 4 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He's on every fucking commercial from Pfizer to Campbell's Soup to
Yep.
He's all over the place. Like, he's killing it in every aspect these days. So again, people hate on people that, they're doing better, trying to drag them down. So, but yeah, I think it'll be a good game. 49ers have some good players, especially on defense. Fred Warner, Chase Young, Joey Bosa,
yeah.
It's, but again, Chiefs defense is something we haven't seen in a long time. Nick Bolton, Karlaftis, Snead, even Justin Reed at the safety position has been great. I love watching him. I don't know if you've seen that clip of him kicking extra points and kickoffs when Butker got hurt. Yeah. He did a kickoff, and he's like, just want me to kick it out of bounds? Like, booted it through the end zone. So it's better than I could do.
I kicked field goals and punt back in the day, so that was actually in my wheelhouse of things.
I got long snap. That was about it.
So I'm god awful at long snapping.
Okay. I see. I lived with one of our coaching assistants at the time, who went on to be the Jets long snapper for 8 or 9 years. So he and I used to go out and snap every single day, and we trained together every single day, because when he was done, he was a 205-pound quarterback when he graduated. And by the time he actually got signed by the Chiefs first, and I think he was 275 pounds. Like, he and I used to go to the gym for an hour and a half and then come home and sit with a whole casserole in our lap the whole night, just eating, watching TV, making ourselves sick. So, yeah, I finished my freshman year at Baker. I was 200 pounds soaking wet. When I stepped on the field in the spring for the spring game, I was 237, something like that. So, yeah, I can long snap. I can't punt or kick to save my life. I can probably punt or kick better than your average person, but nothing.
So I was a goalie in soccer, so that's where a lot of my kicking ability came. Goalie and then forward.
Okay. Right on. I didn't know you played soccer.
Soccer, swimming, football, baseball. Only stopped baseball because the ball came at me really fast at shortstop, and I was like, I'm good.
I remember that. I played third base.
One season of lacrosse, and I was like, this is a lot of running for not a lot of payoff.
Yeah, I don't like running. Running is punishment. These days I only run if someone's chasing me or if I'm chasing someone. That's about it. You're not going to get me to go any farther or faster than that. So, but appreciate you guys having me on today.
Of course. We'll have to get you back on yet again for a third time when we bring all the mad scientists, which is all the supplement guys, together for that podcast.
That would be fun. I'd like that.
Say, everyone, the next podcast you will see, though, will be our Galentine's episode. It's going to be for the Chaos females, talking about their love issues, successes in the Chaos Lab. So that'll be a fun episode to watch. Definitely after this one comes out.
Right on.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. And we're done.